The Tanzania-Zambia Railway, or TAZARA, is more than just steel and sleepers. It's a monument to African unity and a bold act of defiance against colonial legacies. Born from the urgent need for Zambia to escape economic dependence on hostile southern neighbors, TAZARA was envisioned as a lifeline, connecting landlocked Zambia to the sea and to freedom. In the 1960s, Zambia's copper exports were hostage to white minority regimes in Rhodesia and South Africa, making an alternative route a matter of survival. Western powers refused to help, dismissing the project as unviable and politically risky. This rejection forced Tanzania's Julius Nyerere and Zambia's Kenneth Kaunda to look east. China, under Mao Zedong, seized the opportunity, offering not just funding but solidarity, and a chance to challenge the global order. For China, TAZARA was a flagship of South-South cooperation, a way to build alliances and project revolutionary ideals. The railway's construction became a symbol. Newly independent African nations could chart their own course, free from colonial economic shackles. TAZARA was more than infrastructure, it was a declaration of sovereignty, a steel artery of freedom. Its story is one of necessity, ideology, and the forging of new global partnerships. The Great Uhuru Railway, Uhuru meaning freedom, was a vision realized against all odds, and it would change the continent's destiny. Between 1970 and 1975, TAZARA's construction was an epic feat, China's largest foreign aid project of the century, costing over $500 million. 50,000 Chinese workers joined tens of thousands of Tanzanians and Zambians, laboring side by side through mountains, valleys, and bush. They laid every meter of track by hand, braving disease, wild animals, and brutal conditions. The railway was built not just with money but with sweat and sacrifice. Lives were lost and bonds were forged. When TAZARA opened ahead of schedule in 1975, it was hailed as a triumph of solidarity and self-determination. For Zambia, it broke the economic stranglehold of Rhodesia and South Africa, opening a secure route for copper exports. For Tanzania, it unlocked the South, promising new opportunities for trade and agriculture. TAZARA was more than a railway. It was hope made tangible, a model of international cooperation outside colonial influence. China's interest-free loan and technical expertise stood in stark contrast to Western aid, cementing its reputation as Africa's partner. The project laid the foundation for a deep, complex China-Africa relationship. TAZARA became a masterstroke of soft power, a symbol of friendship, and a new kind of global partnership. Its legacy endures as a testament to what can be achieved through unity and shared vision. But the promise of TAZARA faded as decades passed. Chronic underinvestment, aging equipment, and scarce spare parts led to breakdowns and delays. The once busy line became unreliable. What took days now took weeks, eroding its competitive edge. Governments struggled to fund maintenance while mismanagement and corruption plagued the binational authority. Political appointments trumped technical expertise, and revenue meant for repairs vanished. Cargo volumes plummeted. Road transport took over, clogging highways and sidelining the railway. The spirit of unity that built TAZARA failed to translate into effective joint management. The railway, once a symbol of freedom, became a cautionary tale of squandered potential. From over 1 million tons of freight a year, traffic dwindled to a fraction. TAZARA became a shadow of its former self, its steel artery now barely pulsing. The dream of a vibrant economic corridor was derailed by neglect and inefficiency. The challenge, could it ever be revived? Today, TAZARA stands at a turning point. China has pledged $1.4 billion to overhaul the railway, with a 30-year concession to the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation. This is no longer aid, it's a strategic investment, blending economic interests with geopolitical ambition. Zambia and the DRC hold vast reserves of copper and cobalt, vital for China's green tech industries. Reviving TAZARA secures these supply chains and counters Western-backed projects like the Lobito Corridor. The railway's revival is a chess move in Africa's new great game, and a key piece in China's Belt and Road Initiative. For China, it's about influence, resources, and reasserting its role as Africa's indispensable infrastructure partner. A revitalized TAZARA could transform Tanzania and Zambia. For Zambia, cheaper rail transport would boost copper exports and the national economy. For Tanzania, Dar es Salaam could become a major logistics hub, spurring growth and regional trade. The railway could unlock southern Tanzania's potential, creating jobs and new opportunities, but success depends on more than new tracks. Efficient management, streamlined borders, and political stability are crucial. Old problems of bureaucracy and inefficiency must be overcome. There's also the risk of over-reliance on raw mineral exports, leaving economies vulnerable to price swings. The real test: can TAZARA drive diversification and value-added industries, or will it just speed up resource extraction? The challenge is to ensure the railway builds African prosperity, not just serve foreign interests. China's billion-dollar investment brings hope and concern. The 30-year concession gives a Chinese company control over operations, tariffs, and profits, raising questions about who truly benefits. While Tanzania and Zambia own the tracks, the power lies with the operator. Critics warn of deepening debt dependency and diminished policy autonomy. Transparency is lacking. How will profits be shared, and will local workers and companies benefit? The risk is a new form of dependency, with strategic assets under foreign control. Proponents argue it's pragmatic. Without Chinese capital, the railway would remain derelict. The challenge: negotiate deals that protect national interests and ensure genuine development. TAZARA's revival puts Africa at a crossroads. China's investment could unlock vast potential, turning a relic into a modern engine of trade. But with external powers writing the script, questions of agency and sovereignty loom large. Africa is once again a stage for great power competition, with its mineral wealth at the center. The risk: becoming pawns in a new global game. The solution: strong leadership, transparent deals, and a clear vision for development. African nations must demand skills transfer, local content, and fair revenue sharing. The goal: infrastructure that serves African markets and industries, not just foreign interest. TAZARA's future will be shaped not in Beijing, but in Lusaka and Dar es Salaam. The tracks laid today will carry Africa's future, if the continent chooses to steer its own destiny.